I can't believe we fucking did it, man. We did it. The Florida Panthers, they did it. We did it. We're going to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in 27 years. 27 freaking years. That's 1996. That Florida Panthers team made this Stanley Cup. I wasn't born yet. So this is... holy shit. You know, I said this in my Heat video that win was personal because I live in the environment like that. But this is even more special because unlike the Heat where they actually have some success, Panthers doesn't often get success like this in the 2000s and the early, and I say this loosely, early 2010s, because early 2010s they had a huge attendance problems. They were talking about relocating the team to somewhere. They had all those talks. Middle of 2010s, they made the playoffs, right? The early 20, and the reason why I said loosely, because while there was attendance issues, there was also the one team, the 1 year where they actually made the playoffs but could not advance. It was 2012. They actually had a good team, but New Jersey was a little bit better. So they beat us in the playoffs at Game 7, which was a rough one. Then the next one was 2016. So that's 4 years apart. And the Islanders, John Tavares was the one that ended our season from the Islanders. Then we go to the qualifying round, which according to them, according to NHL, that's still making playoffs, but you're qualifying into the first round, which I don't understand that part. But if they say we make the playoffs, we make the playoffs. But again, it was the New York Islanders. So after that, and this is 2020 now, which is the bubble. They had a new change in ownership, new change in general manager, and since then it's been uprising. It's been amazing. They hired a new coach, which was from Chicago. I think it's John or Joel. I think it's Joe Quinville. He has changed. He changed the Florida Panthers into a winning and dynamic team, and they made us into the playoffs. Granted, it was a shortened season. Granted, it was a weird division that they play out because of the pandemic, but they made it to the playoffs, and then we ran to the Lightning, which was frustrating. But again, no shame in losing to the Lightning, although it was frustrating. Next season, we won the President's Trophy. We won the President's Trophy. We were the best team in the league, and we've proven that. We beat the Capitals, and unlike Boston, we actually advanced to the second round. Second round since 26 years. At that point, I did my sports recap of the week last season. I was doing that. I was doing it. So, and then we got swept at the second round, and then they let Andrew Burnett go. And we had, and I'll say this, we had new guys. We had new guys like Sam Bennett, Reinhardt, Verhaeghe, who was a former Maple Leaf player. We had those new guys coming in from other teams, helping to support Barkov, and at that time, Jonathan Huberdeau. We traded for those big guys. We traded away Matheson. Marchessault is gone. Hustad is gone. Dadonov. And the list goes on. But I'm telling you right now, this is my favorite season. And granted, this was early frustrations because we traded away Mackenzie Weegar, prospect Cole Schwitt, and a draft pick, and Jonathan Huberdeau for Matthew Tkachuk, which turned out to be a great trade. I can honestly, in early calling, we won this trade, and Tkachuk had his best season ever, and it's with the Florida Panthers, and Flames fans could only envy. I feel bad for Huberdeau. I still feel bad for Huberdeau. Hopefully he gets something going for Calgary. But Tkachuk helped us in the big way. So did the Stahl brothers. And I understand there's hate for Mark Stahl, but Eric Stahl is a better Stahl, in my opinion. And now the Stahl brothers are going to play each other, and I'll talk about that. So we made it to the playoffs from Chicago help to beat the Penguins, and we made it like that. We just did. And then we played Boston. We were down 3-1, and we came back against Boston. I talked about those weeks ago. And then we had the series against Toronto. They wanted us. They fucking got us because we won in 5. Now, I would have loved to win in 4, but it was only delayed the inevitable. So that just happened. And we won. And again, we won this game in overtime. And there's another overtime clutch series win goal. And I'll tell you who scored after I talk about the recap. In the first period, 2 goals. One was from Aaron Ekblad from a power play. It was a assist from Gustav Forsling and Carter Verhaeghe. The second line players were doing big work for us. Big work for us. Aaron Ekblad from the one-timer that goes through the back of the net. Wool didn't see it coming, and it was 1-0 Florida of the power play. So it was a big goal. The next goal was going all the way to the first end of the first period with Carter Verhaeghe scores one. It was a good goal. 2-0. 2-0 Florida. Then in the second period, oh my God. I talked about Scott Foster and the referees, but I feel like this referee gave us too much benefit of the doubt. Now, in the second period, there was 1 goal. It should have been 2. Morgan Riley scored a goal to get them cut in half, 2-1. And then later in the second period, there was actually another goal. I believe it was from Riley. I think it was Morgan Riley. So what happened was there was a puck. You have the puck right here. You have I'm just gonna pretend you have Bobrovsky's skate blade, and you have the knee pad up here. The puck seemingly went just barely over the line, the goal line. However, the blade was on top of the puck, and it was brought back out. In replay, clearly shows that it went in. It crossed the line. Problem, and this is what I'm getting at because I'm not, by all means, I'm not a hockey expert. I'm starting to learn even more because I keep watching more hockey. I keep watching more hockey from all the seasons and stress and all the bullshit. The whistle was already blown, not knowing that the puck crossed, and when they didn't see the puck crossing the line, and they blow the whistle, it's dead. It's a final blow. It's dead blow. It's a dead ball. I'm gonna call it dead ball because that's what we umpires call it. Because of that, the goal did not count, and they took about 10 minutes looking at this and looking at the audio, hearing the audio, and the experts even said it's going to be a tie game. And you know what though, my years of watching sports, I take what they say with a grain of salt, and mostly I just push it aside because honestly, you're not an expert if you get it wrong all the time and you don't see how it plays out. If you're right, you can brag about it. But most of the time, you're probably wrong. Because what happened after, the referee said the call stands, it's a no-goal. That pissed off, and rightfully so. Toronto fans got so pissed off, and they did what they normally do, and that's throw stuff on the ice, like their towels. They throw stuff on the ice, and that creates even more delays. And it wasn't until like 5 to 7 minutes later, after the throwing on the ice, where the game finally gets going. Third period, We were hanging on. Now, in the third period, I can't really comment much on that goal because the defensive struggle, Bobrovsky saves, it was laser focus. But I was also watching the Heat game, so it was tough for me to keep up with everything. Now, that's what happens when you're a South Florida fan. And that's also what happens when you schedule both teams, both playing at the same night and time. That's what happens. So, finally, it brought to my attention after William Nylander scores a game-tying goal. And oh my God, I was frustrated after that. I was already frustrated the fact that the Heat or the Knicks was coming back from Jalen Brunson's automatic threes, but then now I have to be even more stressful of this game. So that's what happened. So good goal by Nylander. It creates some competitiveness, and then we almost won it at the end of the third. But regardless, we go to overtime. Now, in overtime, oh God, there was a lot of chances for Florida, and there was plenty of chances for Toronto, including the delay of game call against Toronto that would ultimately give us a power play. But that was one of the closest times that we would score on the power play. One of the closest since the Aaron Black goal. That one could have won the game. It was Kachuk right there. Barkov was in that middle of there. Verhaeghe was there. I thought one of them could have made it. And I'm for sure, because it was wide open net. But Wall made a great save. Toronto nearly had us too, but Bobrovsky saves. And the defense from Bahura, Montour, and even Gudis helped us in a huge way. And then they committed a turnover. Cousins on the left side. We did it, because Nick Cousins ended Toronto's season on a overtime series clinching goal. And because of that, we have won this series 4-1 in 5. And I'll say it again, like I said earlier in this video, for the first time in 27 years, the Florida Panthers have advanced to the Eastern Conference Finals. I am so happy that this happened. When my family, and I'll tell a personal story too, when my dad realized I'm a Panthers fan, his first words were, "Get the fuck out of here. They suck." Since then, they have made playoffs consistently. But he's not here to see that happen, so. But I know for sure he'd probably be happy up there that my teams are actually winning games. Granted, one of them had to beat his own city for it, New York. It's a lot of fun and it takes some weight off my shoulders. It takes a lot of weight off my shoulders because I achieved something I never thought possible in basketball, at least. Now I have the brag rights. That's a big part of the basketball wise. Now for hockey, this was historic. My lifetime historic. It's historic for my friends in South Florida. And I'm gonna give him a shout out. I hope he watched this. And he's a new YouTuber who's doing these reaction videos. If you're watching this, Miami Popeye, he does these reaction videos as well. Go subscribe to Miami Popeye. And I think you'll enjoy his content. He is more dedicated Florida Panthers fan than I am. That's saying a lot too. And I watched most of the games. I watched most of the Panthers games this season, and you know what though? It's worth it. It's worth the stress because we have achieved a history in our lifetimes. Now, can we make even more history in our lifetimes? I hope so. But we got a big task ahead of us. And that's the Carolina Hurricanes. They've beaten the New Jersey Devils to get through the Eastern semis. They beat the Islanders in 6. They beat the Devils in 5. They're beatable. We beat them this season, but they also slaughter us. They're the only team this season to give us a shutout, as far as I know. We go to Raleigh, North Carolina, and we got shut out there. That's what I remember. I hope my cousin's watching because she's in the Carolinas. I remember my first sports vlog. It was against Chanticleers, the Coastal Carolina. My cousin lives in the Carolinas. I'm not gonna say which one, but she lives there, and I know it'll be a competitive series. So more family drama. But no, we did it, folks. South Florida against the world, and even better part, we're still the 8th seeds. I don't think this ever happened in hockey before. At least not from my knowledge. I could be wrong. But either way, that's going to do it for this video, folks. For the new viewers, new subscribers, thank you for supporting this channel. Please spread the word. I hope one day to do this full time, because I'm planning on doing this full time. And if you do, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for more, because Miami TVG has it back. And when he does, hit it right there with you for the entertainment you deserve. This is Miami TVG. Go Panthers! And I'll see you guys in the Eastern Conference Finals. Good night, everybody.